Hey guys, welcome back to episode 6 of Third Thoughts. This week we finally get to talk about a new MCU movie with Shang Chi. We'll be doing a full spoiler talk, talking about how it affects the future of the MCU and future movie releases, as we do cover a lot of the box office news here on Third Thoughts. We'll also be talking about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Charlie Cox not being in the Spiderman No Way Home trailer, a new Aquaman suit for Aquaman 2, and we'll end the episode off by talking about What If, episode 4, giving our spoiler-free review. But before we get into it, if you guys are new in here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a new video or go live. But without wasting more time, let's get into it. So, Brantley, Shang-Chi came out this week. We've been waiting for this movie for so long. We were scared it was going to get delayed. I thought the trailers were great. Honestly, after watching the movie, I don't think the trailers did this movie justice. I personally loved it. I have it very high on my MCU ranking. I have it very high on my MCU origin movies ranking. I have it very high in basically every single list. It's broken my top 10 superhero movies of all time list. Bradley, what did you think of it?
All right, this was very hard. It was very hard. Just there's so much I love about it, and there's just those things about it I just don't like. But talking about what I love first, like the action, so good. Just it's probably the best action in the MCU. The action is amazing. The fight choreography.
Yeah.
It was just so like refreshing. Like it just felt so good, and it was just really well done. Camera work also really well done. The characters were all really solid. Shang-Chi, his friends, like they were all very entertaining. I like them all. I think one of my issues does lie with kind of just some story decisions that were made. I really feel like they did his sister like very dirty. Like I don't know what they were doing with her because they just really she was really just very underused that whole film. Like I thought they could do way more with her, and they didn't do very much. And I feel like just kind of the direction the movie went in was kind of unexpected towards the second half for me. Like it's more of like the heavy fantasy aspects and whatever. It was kind of just a bit unexpected.
Well, let's mention this. Let's mention this, bro. Mm-hmm. Bradley's not the biggest fan of fantasy things. Yeah. Let's just get that out of the way. I know Bradley said it didn't really affect his rating, but we all know deep down it's slightly altered. It definitely slightly altered, bro. Like at least by like a 0.5. That fantasy aspect definitely altered a little bit. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I know I'm not gonna lie. Like definitely like it being kind of like more centered around fantasy in the second half, definitely like it's not really like my preference. So it got to me out of it a little bit, but I still thought that like the fantasy parts kind of brought in some cool things. I mean, there were some cool things. It was just for me, it just kind of the movie to me almost feels like two different things. I would say the first and second half of the movie, not necessarily like that. I mean, that's kind of a good and a bad thing.
I think that's the whole point of it. I think that's the whole point of it, though, bro. Like if you think about it, like. The whole point of this is Shang-Chi moving from what he ran away from basically to America, and now he's coming back to his home country and basically going back to the Ten Rings compound where he grew up. So obviously that tone switch is going to be there. Like I think that's inevitable if you have that story of him running away and then coming back.
Yeah, no, I mean going from San Francisco to a compound is one thing. Going from like the real world to Narnia is like a different thing.
But like Talo is there though. Like that's the point though. That's literally the whole point. Is it not?
I know. I'm not saying. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying like it does feel like two different things, which like I kind of like and don't like at the same time. Like I don't dislike everything that's like the fantasy aspects. It was cool. To me, I just wanted more of this what we got in the first half because that was so good to me.
Here's the thing, I told this man going in, because I watched this a day earlier than he did, and 2 days earlier than he did, and the only thing I really told him about the story of the movie was that don't go in expecting so much grounded action, because that's really not what it isn't, like, at all. Like, that's all that the trailers advertise to you, is that it's a grounded action movie with only kung fu, but no, it literally has, like, magical rings, magical staffs, magical swords. Oh, yeah, and by the way, we're getting into spoilers, so sorry if I didn't mention this earlier. We are going to be spoiling the movie in a little bit. We haven't gotten any spoilers yet, but yeah. What else do you have to say about it, Bradley?
No, I actually love the rings though. Like, I like the little like hints of like the mystical fantasy aspects. I just didn't like how they just went all the way like in with it. Like they were like really leaned super hard to it. But I like how it was like screaming like the ring is probably like top tier like MCU weapon, bro. Like the way
Yeah.
they're used like in combat and stuff was so dope. Bro. Like even like from that first opening scene in the movie, how they're used, like it's so sick. So I mean, I like the rings a lot, but just for me, the story decisions also I don't like the inclusion of like the old Mandarin, like Ben Kingsley's character. I thought he was just kind of wasn't very funny to
What,
me.
dude? Trevor
The
was
way he was
so
incorporated,
funny, bro.
I did not laugh at anything that
Dude,
he did
Trevor
or
was
that.
hilarious, bro. Me and my entire theater were laughing the whole time. I thought his character was perfect. Like I mean, I've never hated the Mandarin, but I really did like what they did. It was super funny. And then his pet was also awesome. Like that whole like everything just fit into the whole aspect of like I guess mystics so well.
No, to me, it was all random. Even the way he was introduced was just very random to me. Like he was just in a room behind where they were locked up at, and they kind of just found him, and
Well, yeah, he
they
was
just started
locked up.
talking to him.
Yeah, well, he explained his whole backstory,
It
my
was
guy.
just so. Yeah, I know that, but it just didn't. It just felt weird, and like just the weird. Really, that's when the movie really like. I was telling you this earlier. Like once they got captured and like locked up from Winwood, like that's when the movie for me kind of just started to fall off for me personally, because like
Why though?
that's when I just felt it got a little ridiculous, because so they get locked up and they run to Trevor and whatnot,
Okay.
and he kind of like explains whatever's going on, and he kind of like gives them like the answers like with the pet and whatnot about like how to get there, he's gonna help them whatever, and
Okay,
like
he helps
I don't
him.
know,
That's literally it, bro.
it just felt just very like just I don't know, it didn't feel like it's what the movie was kind of like, well, let me just get like to this point and just have him do this like just for the plot or whatever. It just didn't feel very like creative. Even the way that they get out was so dumb. I was like, okay, at least they had to figure out a way to get out. And she finds like, oh, there's underground tunnels.
Yeah, she lived there. She literally lived there for like 6 more years. So obviously she would know.
It feels like a cop out. But the writer's like, we can say that she knows something, and that's gonna get them out. Like,
it makes sense though.
Me,
exactly, it literally makes sense.
But it feels too easy though. It's like, come on, like.
Bro, like, but the thing is, it makes so much sense though. So it literally is fine because it makes sense. It's not something illogical. It's not something out of the way for the writers. Like, I will agree. I will say one thing. I thought Trevor's addition at first was really unnecessary. Like, I was like, why is this man even in the movie? But like as the movie went on, I actually really I actually liked his character a decent amount because he added a good like comedic tone. Also with the comedy, they didn't like overuse it, and I know you didn't really necessarily like Katie's comedy in this movie, but like one example, actually no, you finish and then we'll talk about the comedy. So you keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, Katie, she was a cool character, but I just feel like at some point she was kind of just a bit like annoying, her comedic timing and stuff.
Really?
Was a bit weird at times, but overall, she was a cool like side character. She's definitely like one of the better MCU like best friend people. Like she's definitely like I'll take her over like Ned or whatever.
Bro, let's be honest here. If okay, here's the thing. I honestly don't think she had any time where her delivery was like in like really ill placed, if that makes sense. Like for example, right? Remember that one scene where they're sitting on like right above the lake and it's Katie and Shang, and they're basically Shang is like, I have to kill him, like that's all I can do, like I have to kill my dad. That's basically what he says, right?
Yeah.
I literally was like, I was praying to God that Aquafina didn't make a joke, and she didn't. Like she literally didn't make, and that was like the only one moment in the whole movie where I was like, okay, this movie's getting really serious right now with like Shang-Chi basically debating what he has to to finish off the movie, I guess. But like this was the deciding moment, and I really was like, if she makes a joke here, I'm gonna lose it. Like there's no way Marvel would do this again, because Marvel messes up delivery on a lot of comedy. We know that from Black Widow. That movie was so serious, and they still managed to throw in way too much comedy and unnecessary moments. But this movie, it really didn't feel like they did that to me.
Yeah,
Even though, okay, I will say there weren't too many like 100% serious moments, but I didn't feel like there needed to be in this movie, at least. Like, for example, like the interactions in the beginning with the sister and Shang-Chi, like that was a serious moment inside of her office, and Katie cracked jokes at the end, but during the conversation, no one really interrupted. It was a solid conversation. It did feel like there was a lot of exposition in like between the second and third act, where the people at Talo were like explaining the what's the dragon's name? The white dragon?
Well,
forgot his name.
Steve Fang Film or whatever.
No. The Emperor dude. No, okay, yeah, the White Dragon. I forgot his name, but yeah, where they were explaining like the Soul Sucker and how like he's manipulating Wenwu's mind, like the Great Protector. The Great Protector. Yeah, that's the White Dragon. But like that whole part, I definitely felt like that was like really exposition heavy. It just felt like they were reading off a book of stuff that they had to get through in order to tell us stuff. But that's the only part of the movie where I felt like that. Like I honestly, I didn't feel like that any other moment, bro.
No, I see what you're saying. Like, don't get me wrong. The movie. Okay, guys. First of all, I like this movie. I don't hate this movie. This movie is like it's
debatable.
pretty good.
Debatable.
I told this one. It's in my top 10 MCU.
Undercover racist.
I think
Debatable.
It's like the best. It's the best origin movie in the MCU so far. Like, it is a good movie. Go watch this movie. I'm just saying. In terms,
he needs the movie to make money so that other movies can come out. That's all he's saying. If he didn't like the movie,
because it's just this movie to me. It's like it's
okay, not your style. Like, just say that. I think that's a better representation of what you're trying to say instead of trying to justify. No, but like, you're like, okay, here's the thing, Brantley. You're trying to go around the fact that you don't like fantasy stuff. I think that's where the core of your problems comes from. Even though I do agree on some parts that you say with Wenwu and the villain arc, I do agree with that stuff. But other than that, most of this is either rooted in the fact that you don't like fantasy, or you're just semi-racist. But that's besides the point. So no, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but seriously, like, I don't know. That was a joke, but I just don't think you're a fan of fantasy stuff. And I think, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I just don't think, like, I think you preferred the beginning of this movie, obviously, because that's the style of movie you like. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. Like, there's definitely some part of this that, like, it's definitely, like, my personal preference. But at the same time, I feel like I still have, like, legitimate, like, criticism. So, another thing I didn't, like, miss this related back to the comedy. I thought most of the movie, the comedy was handled fairly well. Like, I thought it was kind of, like we said, it was, like, put at the right times. But also towards the end, another thing like was like how the whole like team up thing was executed or whatever. That was stupid to me how that like occurred between like both like their armies or whatever teaming up.
That's kind of fire though, bro. That's kind of heat, bro. You literally killed the Death Dealer. The Soul Sucker. I do think the Death Dealer should have lived though. I do think that the Death Dealer should have lived a little longer. I wish it was some other like I wish it was some other like random army member, but that wouldn't have been as impactful. Like, we saw the Death Dealer as some like super crazy powerful ninja warrior, and he just died like this to a Soul Sucker. Like, that just shows the scale of powerfulness. So what'd you say?
No, I mean, personally, I wish it was just like a random goon, because I wanted Death Dealer, but I want him to throw hands with the sister of Shang Chi, somebody, bro. We needed to run it back with the Death Dealer, but also he was so hyped up, bro. He was in the advertising and everything.
Yes,
he was only in like one scene.
Bro, he literally was bare. But Loki, bro, that fight in the beginning, though, was a scaffolding fight with him in the room before his dad comes. Bro, that was gas. And also, bro, I love the way they utilize flashbacks in this movie. They don't do that in many MCU movies, but I think it really worked in this one. That was so good. And like where the knife was up to his face and he cut back to the clip of him like slicing his cheek. And then at the end with his dad, obviously, like that was so good. But I know you had some criticisms of the villain. We talked about this a little bit. I told Brantley, I was like, we should wait and talk about this on the podcast. We talked about it a little too much on our own time. But Brantley, go ahead and give your criticism / ideas / what you told me over text.
All right, yeah, no. When we, I think he's a pretty good villain. Like, he's not bad. Definitely, up there in terms of MCU solo film villains. Like, he was a cool guy, entertaining, fun to watch, whatnot. But personally, I just feel like, especially my big issue was like the way he died, the way he went out. I just it didn't feel like that important to me. It was like executed as like, oh, like, the thing kind of just came, and then he was like just looking at Shang-Chi, let go of the rings or whatever. It was done very like subtly, which I don't think is like the worst thing in the world. But I feel like for a moment like that, I feel like you should treat it like it was a kind of a bigger moment. I feel like, and I feel like they kind of just brushed by it because he dies, boom. They kind of hop on the dragon. They like look back at his body, but it's kind of just like. I didn't feel like it had like that big of an impact, but like literally he just saw his dad, the main antagonist of the film, like die.
Well, I feel like I feel like we didn't watch the same final battle against the two then, because they literally fucking like, dude, the whole fight between them was them talking and like going back and forth. Like the whole, like that's why I liked the final battle between those two so much. The final battle really to me was so perfect just because, like, if you think about it, right? The way that Shang-Chi really, like, I guess, evoked emotion to his dad during the fight was so good to me because, like, for example, one example I texted Brentley, like, a quote was that, why would she even want you if she came back? Why do you think she would even want to be with you again? Like, that to me just shows that, like, Shang-Chi's dad has gone, or Wenwu has gone so insane now. He's gone to such crazy levels now, and it really just doesn't make sense to me how you would think it's so subtle. Like, all of the moments just happened before, you know?
I guess, but also another thing, I didn't really find Winwoo to be like for like in terms of plot, I didn't really find like he didn't do anything up to the point in the battle that was like saying, "Oh, this guy's like going to extreme lengths." Like it was more of like what he was about to do. But I feel like the movie, like,
well, he did.
Next, like,
well,
do something.
he actually.
I was like, "Oh man, like this guy kind of like he's going crazy." Like,
well, I mean, he did. Well, we literally talked about this, bro. He literally did. He literally conquered people, killed people in front of his son. Like, he was a bad guy. He literally, Shang-Chi, his sister, everyone knew this. That's why they ran away.
Yeah, no, he was a bad guy, but literally the most like he was prior. But I'm saying the one in the current story, like what he was doing in that movie, he really didn't do much outside of getting their necklaces. After that, I mean, he didn't do anything until like the end. But I mean, of course, we saw that turned out. But yeah,
that's the point, though.
Like, it was kind of more of like, oh, like he was like this like bad guy.
Yes, he was this bad guy, bro. He was this bad guy. He was this bad guy. He fell in love.
We didn't see him do anything to like enforce that point.
Yes, he did. Bro, okay, yeah, obviously he didn't, but his kids knew he was going to do it anyway because he's done that shit before. Think about it, right? He was in love. He was so in love with someone.
Show the audience.
We've already seen him kill people, though. Why do we need to see more of it?
But I'm saying we need to see how like the death like actually negatively affect him outside of him saying what he's about to do or what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, that's how the death impacted him, is that he's going to go get her free now. That's like what he's been building up to. He's been planning it this whole time.
I understand that, but I just feel like in terms of what he was doing in the current present of the story that wasn't like in flashbacks or whatnot, we didn't really see him like do anything to really like feel like, man, like this guy is just like really something else. But
damn, I mean, yeah, we totally didn't see him murder people in front of his child.
Yeah, so I'm saying, though, in the past, yes.
I know, but obviously because he changed because of love, and now he's going bad.
Yeah, I'm saying you should see him do something. You
just wanted him to kill. You just wanted him to kill more people. That's what you're saying. You just wanted him to kill more people in the present moment.
I mean, we didn't see him kill anybody in the present moment.
But why do we have to? Why does that matter?
Because I feel like we get the show with him kind of going back into the darkness. We didn't see him really go back in there.
Bro was about to free a whole ass dragon, my guy.
Yes, but he didn't. I mean, yeah, but that was. I'm saying before the final battle, like he like. Wait. Something else.
He was gonna tear down Talo. He was literally gonna burn Talo. Remember? That's why Shang-Chi didn't want to help him, because he was literally about to burn down Talo. He was literally going. That's why he went to Talo. That's why they had the big war at Talo.
Yeah. He was gonna do that, but I'm saying, like, I feel like something beforehand to at least show, like, man, like, he's, like, seriously or something. I don't know. I just feel like...
Oh, he's seriously on something. Like, he just murdered a guy. He just murdered men in front of his child. I don't understand why we have to see that again, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't make sense why we have to keep seeing him kill people.
Because I feel like it makes sense, because we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it in his... Okay, yes. But I'm saying in that current time, I feel like we should have saw something like in the presentation, like this is like what he's doing right now, because still because of the death of his wife and whatnot. Like, you know what I mean? Like just within the present, like dead. Like,
I understand turn yet because that's really, but the thing is, he didn't think he was evil. That's the whole point of his story, is that he himself does not think he's evil because he's just going to save his wife. He's not purposefully trying to be evil. It's the same argument that you made for Killmonger, bro.
Yeah.
He's not purposely trying to be evil. He's just trying to attain something that in everyone else's eyes is evil, of course, because he's going to burn down Talo and free a whole soul-sucking dragon.
Okay, that's true. And that's another thing. I brought this up as well. personally, I didn't like the whole soul sucker manipulation thing. To me, that
Okay,
was
I
just
do.
stupid. And to me,
Okay,
that took
here's the
away from
thing.
his character, in my opinion. 'Cause I feel like they could
I
have definitely made him have a better motivation.
I disagree, but I agree at the same time. Here's why. I agree with Brantley just because I do think that they could have shifted the whole soul sucker. I think they still should have used the soul sucker dragon thing because I really do like that. I like the whole concept of it. I like how because also what the soul sucker does is if you completely say wait, Brantley, do you want to take the soul sucker completely out of the equation? Like is that like some okay,
Yeah.
so listen. The reason I think the Soul Sucker works in the big picture is because it can show at the end of the movie how powerful Shang-Chi is with the rings. Because okay, here's the thing, bro. Bro made a whole Naruto fireball with the rings, bro. He was gonna obliterate everyone if he literally had the chance to. So him using the rings to defeat the Soul Sucker is what really showed his powers. I also think that it makes sense because Wenwu's mind was so easily like manipulatable. Like he was so vulnerable, I guess, because he was so in love with this woman. He literally sacrificed everything in his life for this woman. He put away the thing that made him most powerful with the 10 rings, and now he took them back because he heard her voice through manipulation because he was so vulnerable. I think that's personally why it works. I understand what you're saying though because I do think that the final battle was a little bit unnecessary. We'll get into that when you want to talk about specifically the final battle, but what else do you have to say?
And that was, I mean, yeah, the final back. Like, a lot of people say it was like a lot going on, which there was. But personally, that wasn't like my necessarily my biggest issue with it. I would just say it was just kind of this interesting that I really just didn't like. Like I was like my ideal version of this movie would definitely have like Wenwu, right? Just his wife dies, whatever. But personally, I would have to just really have a personal issue like with the village and their people. I thought that would have been way more like personable. Like he was like, oh,
Yeah,
like
but man,
if
bro,
I
he
was
literally could have wrecked them,
like
though. He's
if you
literally
guys let
murdered.
me in, this wouldn't have happened.
Bro, but he's literally
I
killed.
feel like,
Why would he? No, but why would he even want to live in Ta Lo? Because his wife was happy enough to leave. They didn't cast her out. She decided to leave.
but no, because remember they wouldn't let him into the village. Because remember they like they rejected him. Like they wouldn't let him stay there or whatever.
Yeah, but his wife
village
but his wife didn't die because they didn't let them in.
But yeah, I'm saying, I feel like it could have been interesting motivation where he kind of blames him. But she's like, well, I could have had this different kind of life if y'all would have let me stay within your society. But now since you guys kicked me out, I had to live out in like the regular world, and that left my wife and family vulnerable.
Regular world, he was living in a compound. He was living in a nice ass compound, bro.
But I'm saying he started to live within like the normal world. Like he wasn't living in like kind of the tower, like the fantasy world. Like if he could have been like, oh, if I was able to live here, then this would have had no chance of happening. These people would have never got to me or my family.
True. I do agree. Okay, yeah.
So I feel like that could have been a way better motivation. You're like, so now I'm gonna like.
Yeah, but also, bro, let's be real, bro. Let's be real. He would have wrecked Ta Lo in 5 minutes on screen time, bro. Let's be real. He would have absolutely obliterated Ta Lo.
I mean, no, I feel like you could have had something. You should have had the Ta Lo people fight his army, and then him and Shang-Chi fight.
So yeah, basically the whole movie with I guess, but that doesn't really make sense because then why? Yeah, but why would he have to fight Why would he fight, bro? He could literally obliterate the entire Ta Lo army and then fight Shang-Chi. Like he could literally man conquered the world by himself. Did you see the opening of the movie, bro? Man made a force field. All the arrows deflected off of him, and then he just slayed everyone. Like it's so like he can do it he's so powerful, bro. You don't understand. Like that's why I think the Soul Sucker thing worked because it wasn't just them two battling. It also army versus army just doesn't like I just don't like army versus army. I think it works for a little bit, but I think when the armies combined and then they fought the other Soul Sucker dragons and we saw some people actually die, which I don't think also the old dude that died, I had no connection to him whatsoever. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't care that he died. They really tried to build a connection. I'm gonna be honest. It did feel like they tried to build a connection, but it didn't work for me. But overall, it felt like everyone was vulnerable, especially after seeing the Death Dealer die by a soul sucker, like a mini soul sucker. I just don't think it would work, really. I don't think the scale would be there.
Cooler, like, just imagine like Death Dealer fighting also, like the old chick that trained Shang-Chi or whatever. Like that would have been a way doper. Like,
also, Bradley, remember the whole fight with Shang-Chi. The whole purpose of Shang-Chi and his dad fighting. The reason it was so tough for Shang-Chi was because he had to stop his dad from opening the gate. And he had to stop his dad in general. Like, that was the whole thing, was to stop the gate from opening.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, obviously, I think my idea needs a little bit of modification. I think that on paper, to me, it sounds like a better, like more personal motivation, in my opinion, than just him being manipulated by a soul sucker. Like, I don't know. And I think
I don't
you
know. I
supposed to
also
the
think
same
him
way.
being
Like we're in the final fight. Like, you could have had Shang-Chi be like, man, like dad, like no, like it's not the village's fault. Like, it's your fault. You did this to yourself. Your past sins let your mom die and whatnot. People wanted to come after you. This is your fault. Yeah, that
Yeah,
could have
I
still been just
understand, bro. I honestly, bro, I'm gonna be real. I 100% agree with your idea, but I don't agree with how it will play out on screen. I just don't think it would work, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think your idea is great. If they could completely take the Soul Sucker out of the movie and still keep this like tight in a movie, I would agree. But I just don't think they could. I don't think your idea is possible because I don't think it would work with the whole fantasy aspect, especially like the scale of tall. I just don't think it would work, bro. I'm gonna be real. I don't think I love your again. I love your idea. I think your idea is perfect. If they played that out, I wouldn't be mad. I just don't think it would work. Is all I'm trying to say.
I mean, I do agree that I don't know how you would show the power of the Ten Rings within the idea. Like, I do agree with that. Like, I don't know how you would show Shang-Chi like at full power. So that's like the big issue with the idea, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just didn't like the Soul Sucker like manipulating him. I feel like it really just kind of really tainted like his all more motivation. Like he's kind of just being like manipulated in a way by, and also the way it was explained was kind of just student like this thing whispers what you like desire, but it's
Yeah,
like,
I will agree.
like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
To me,
think.
that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought the whole I just think the exposition in general was really poorly executed. I just think it was like it just felt too forced. I felt like they were really like spoon feeding us the information. I think it worked for the movie's like structure, I guess. Like everything flowed really well with them explaining it like that. But overall as a viewer, I just didn't like how they spoon fed it to us. But is that all you have to say? Because we can move on to your rating.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Well, I guess one thing I don't say, I think I said this earlier, but I really don't like how they sidelined his sister, man. Like,
Yeah,
what were
I
they
agree,
thinking,
bro. Dude, she's a
I don't know
bad.
what they were
Yeah,
doing.
she's a baddie, and she need more screen time. But yeah, I really did like it. I loved her sister. I also loved the aunt. Like, her character was really important to the story. As, like, I don't know. I felt like they could have used, especially in the final battle. I feel like they should have showed more smaller one-on-one choreographed fights. I think that would have been really cool. Not like final battle, but like like when Shang Chi and Wenwu were fighting in like the little temple thing. Like I think when they were cutting to the outside shots, I think it would have been a little bit cooler if we got to see some like one-on-one choreographed fights. But yeah, if that's all, Bradley, let me know your rating, bro.
On a rating, I'm looking at nice 7.5.
No, you're still sticking with that,
Nice.
bro.
7.5. Honestly,
Oh
I think
my
on
God.
a rewatch, I could probably put it at a 8, but as of now, after
Undercover
one watch,
racist.
7.5 out of 10,
No,
man.
bro. Okay.
Great movie, probably top 10 MCU, best origin film, best action MCU.
Does it not break the top all time? Superhero?
It's like top 20.
Okay.
It's
I will not
random.
take it, but I have to take it because I don't really have a choice. But for me, you guys know the vibes. I talk about this in my spoiler free review and my spoiler review. You guys know the vibes. It might be because I'm Asian. I might have a little bit of bias in me, but I'm not wrong. Here's the thing, bro. Mauricio May said maybe best Marvel movie ever. He is also Asian, but I think also like High Top said. I mean, he's white and Brentley's black, so racist towards Asians. But no, I'm joking. But like for real though, I think this. I mean, I definitely have some bias. Like going into this movie, I really had no expectations. I will say, I think one thing that really affected Brentley's score was his hype going in. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm not saying like you chose it, but like let's be real, bro. Mauricio putting it top 3, like saying it's one of his favorite superhero movies of all time.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
It was all hype.
But no,
I can't lie.
but I don't think it's Bradley's fault that he got it hyped up for it because everyone else was hyping it up. It wasn't really his choice to have those expectations going in. Let's be real. But personally, I had like little to no expectations going in. I will say I think it's honestly a top 5 MCU movie. I don't have a full MCU list. I'm gonna be doing an MCU movies tier list because all my tiers are still the same. But I'm currently doing the rewatch still. Sorry for not posting that many episodes because I literally don't have time to edit them. But I still have my list in the making, so I don't have an official list, but it's definitely top 5 MCU movies of all time. I also think that it's the best intro solo movie. I think it's one of the best solo movies in general. I think it's a top tier solo movie in the MCU. As of right now, guys, it is my top 10 superhero movies of all time. Brentley and I, hopefully next week or maybe the week after, whenever there's like slow news, we'll hopefully be doing an MCU tier list or something along those lines, maybe like MCU characters tier list, but something along those lines. I definitely want to do that for you guys. But my final score is going to be a solid 9 out of 10. The reason for this is because, hey, let me finish. I think there's only 2 issues with this movie, okay? 2 issues. I think that the tone switch is too drastic. I don't think it's a smooth enough transition. I think I love both tones, but I think that everything just suddenly switches, and I think they should have drawn it out for a little bit longer. When I say everything, I mean like the colors on screen, the way everything just plays out, like just like the talking of characters, interactions, especially like one of the biggest things is just the score. I love the score, by the way. I think it's phenomenal, but one of the biggest things is how the score just drastically changes, and it's honestly kind of daunting just how crazy the crazy switches. But I think that's one issue. The second issue, like I mentioned before, I think the exposition is just too hand fed to us. I think that it's just too I think it's just too spoon fed to the audience. I think they should have let it play out a little bit more on the screen visually. Some things that I think are like mid in the movie, I guess I will say is I think the script, and here, I'm going to be real, guys. This mid part, I'm really nitpicking just because I have to say bad things or else I seem biased. I think the script is a little bit iffy when it comes to like the middle. Honestly, I'm just saying the exposition again. I just think I'm going to be honest, I just really don't like when movies spoon feed things to us. That's why I'm honestly, but I'm telling you this, that's why I'm scared for Dune, because there's just so much exposition about story that has to go on, and I don't want it to spoon feed it to us. And that's kind of how I felt what happened to this movie, especially in this end of second act. Like, they really were like, okay, this is the Soul Sucker, this is what he does, this is what happened to your dad, this is that, this is that. They really just spoon fed it to us. The best part about this movie, in my opinion, the action. I think the action was absolutely phenomenal. I think it's the best action in the MCU. I think it's top. I think it's top 3 superhero movie action of all time, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely stunning visually too. Just overall, I think it's almost perfect. I'm gonna be honest. I think this movie is going to be one that I watch at least 2 more times in theaters. I'm planning on going again pretty soon. I'm going in IMAX next time because I just loved how it looked in Dolby. I think it's going to look even better in IMAX. And overall, I'm excited for the future of the MCU. Speaking about the future of the MCU, let's talk about this post-credit scene. Brilly and I have not talked about this post-credit scene at all, guys. I'm going to be real. Actually, we talked about it for like 2 minutes before we started recording. But we have not talked about the post-credit scene. I'm really quickly going to run through what the post-credit scene was, and then I'll ask Brilliant's thoughts. I'll give my thoughts. We'll talk about how it sets up the future. Then we'll talk about the box office and how this movie is going to impact the future. So stay tuned for that. But the post-credit scene. So post-credit scene number 1. Basically, the movie actually ends with Wong calling Shang and Katie into his portal. The post-credit scene starts off right where the movie left off. They're inspecting the 10 rings. They realize that as they open up the 10 rings, it's actually showing a beacon. It's sending a signal somewhere. And then the camera pans over. We see Carol Danvers. We see Brie Larson with her long hair, which I absolutely love to see. And then panning even more to the side, we see Bruce Banner in Bruce Banner form, not Hulk form. He has a regulator on his arm, which I do want to talk about. Brentley, what did you think of this? Actually, wait, do you think I should break it down? Because you said you don't know much about what was going on. Like, you didn't catch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I first watched it, I don't know. To me, this felt very weird. Like, I knew, like, when I was okay, I gotta like stuff about it, so I can't understand like what this really means to the future. But like in the moment, I'm like, this was a very odd post credits, especially because like I thought it's gonna kind of hint to where like the beacon day was from before it ended, something like that, kind of to tease people. But they didn't really do that, so I was like, this is very weird. Like, this felt very random. But so I still really don't know exactly what this means, but I think there's different like so details that like are hinting at some cool stuff.
Let me put on that new Rockstar's hat, guys. Here's your breakdown. My name is Eric Voss. Today we're going to be breaking down the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. So, basically, Brentley, from what I remember from Eric Voss's video from watching it earlier this morning, no, I'm joking. But no, so personally for me too, I didn't understand when I was in theaters. I was like, oh, dang, that's cool. It's Bruce Banner. Why is he not Professor Hulk? It's Carol Danvers. Why is her hair long? Why is Shang-Chi? Why is Katie next to everyone? Why is she an Avenger? She shot one bow and arrow, but nevertheless, I don't understand why she's there, but yeah. But yeah, when I got in the car, I kind of realized, I was like, there's a few things to break down here. There's a lot that I didn't catch. So the first thing I didn't catch was the fact that instead of in the post-credit scene, they didn't say that it gives, like, in the beginning of the movie they said it lets you live for like forever. Like, I mean, sorry, it lets you live for eternity. It lets you live eternally. The next Marvel movie, if you didn't know, is Eternals. Also, there's 10 rings and there's 10 Eternals. So people are saying that if since Eternals probably takes place 7 days directly after Endgame, since obviously they have the 7 days to complete their mission, that beacon, like that, the message that they got could be the message that's being sent from the rings. So that's one theory that people are having. So people are saying the rings and the Eternals are created. The rings have been there forever, because remember, Wong said these rings trace back for more than 1,000 years. Because Shang Chi said his dad only had them for 1,000 years. Also in the comics, the rings originate from alien technology, like ancient alien technology, so like before Carol Danvers stuff, like that kind of stuff. So that's why Carol couldn't identify it. So that's basically the whole rings thing. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah, people are saying the Eternals connect to the rings basically, and that's how they're setting up the Eternals movie. But the biggest thing, and I honestly, I don't know how you didn't catch this, bro, but Carol had a call. She had to go away. I'm assuming that's Miss Marvel or the Marvels. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I don't know. To me, the scene it didn't like exactly like kind of like movies like the post Christian they point exactly like this is what we're trying to show you. This is the next thing happening.
that's okay.
Boom.
I'll be real. I kind of like that though. I kind of like that they didn't
Yeah,
do that, bro. It felt like a real
just
scene. Yeah.
it was
Wait,
just
okay, here's the
odd.
thing. Here's the thing. It felt like a real movie scene. It didn't feel just like a clip, you know? Like a lot of these post-credit scenes are like 5 second clips, something crazy, and they tease us for the next thing, right? But this actually felt like a normal scene. Like, I don't know if that's
It's
weird,
weird though, but yeah, that's why.
yeah, it is weird. It is weird, but it felt like a
Um,
whole scene after the movie. Whereas, like, even the second post credit scene, it didn't feel like a scene. It felt like just like cutting stuff together, you know. But the first one, and also I wanted to mention the Hulk thing. I don't know if you realized, but I did mention that Hulk has a regulator on him, and has some green fluid on him in this. So people are saying that when he has to do the blood transfusion to his cousin in She-Hulk, maybe he loses enough like Hulk like juice in his body or whatever, like in it, like the blood, right? Because he has to give a blood transfusion to his cousin who turns into She-Hulk. And so he could have a regulator now where he chooses and he can pick whenever he wants to become the Hulk or if he wants to say Bruce Banner. The only reason I like this is number one, because Bruce Banner now has a completely different rewrite, and I hated Professor Hulk so much. So having the man have a rewrite, that is god tier writing right there. Thank you, Marvel. Also, that we know now that She-Hulk is a prequel show, so that's interesting. So after that quick little breakdown, Bradley, now what do you think of the post credit scene? If your mind changed.
I mean that definitely helped, but like I said earlier, I feel like personally I like the post Christian as just like clips. Like I don't like the scene from it. I feel like that's like kind of their like purpose. It's like this is what's gonna like just the next thing happening. Boom, like this is gonna be a little peak. But this was just I don't know, it just felt very odd. I'm not fully against it. It definitely was cool seeing, Carol and Bruce Banner. And that's definitely interesting what's happening regarding She-Hulk. I don't know, it was just very odd. Even when I'm like, like what was I really supposed to like get from that scene, I guess exactly. Like they kind of weren't pointing me like really in like any like direction. But I do wonder after watching that scene, are we gonna get maybe the origin of the Ten Rings in the Eternals? Maybe like we're gonna see how they came to be and whatnot. So that might be interesting.
Because I think that's the big way they'll.
I mean, going for shit about the Eternals, I feel like that could be the case. We could see how they're made.
Yeah, I really think that's the big way that they'll like honestly just. I think that's the big way they'll connect like the Eternals to the bigger picture of the MCU. I don't think that they'll like obviously I don't think we'll see cameos or anything like that. I think we'll just see all of these like crazy things that we all know as like legendary items in the MCU being created in the Eternals, and I think that's how they'll connect it to the bigger picture. But yeah, second post credit scene was what's her name? Xiling. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce her name. Shang-Chi's sister. She, number one, baddie. Number two is creating basically the Ten Rings organization, but on herself, I guess. So now there's women training there. Razor Fist and the guy from the nightclub. They're all associates there. And it says at the end the Ten Rings will return. I think this is a nod to on November 12th, Disney Plus Day. I think we'll be getting an announcement for a Ten Rings Disney Plus TV show, or potentially just setting them up for 2023, 2024 Shang-Chi. What are your thoughts?
So the scene, I like this post-credit scene, but it really caught me off guard because I feel like the way it was set up with the score and the tone, it felt like it was like a villain scene. I'm like, huh? Like, why would she be like
I was thinking, bro,
evil? Like,
here's
to
the
me,
thing.
that's how I took it. Like, when I first watched them, like, it felt like it was set up to be like evil or something. But I'm
I
like,
cannot wait.
that's how it
It
felt.
low-key would make sense, though, bro. It low-key would make sense. Because she might think that she deserves the 10 rings because she stuck around. She was forced to stay with her dad. And so she might think that she deserves the 10 rings, and then she fights Shang-Chi for them. That would be phenomenal. I think that would be awesome, bro.
I'm not against the idea, but I feel like they should have hinted at that throughout the movie. We don't really get a hint of that. And I feel like even at the end, they kind of, have like, they kind of reconcile with one another. I feel like it would kind of be odd for her kind of just to switch back to being like, oh, I'm like against Shang-Chi now. But I feel like if they would have
Well, technically, she was never for Shang-Chi. She was never really for Shang-Chi.
Yeah, but they kind of have like a heart to heart, like, I don't know. To me, it would just feel very odd for her to just go back to like kind of have like a 180.
Also,
like,
she purposely did that because at the end of the movie, Shang-Chi said that Katie asked where his sister was gonna go, and he said she's back at the compound dismantling the 10 rings. So, she probably went back there on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing her like. I don't know. I don't want to see her fight Shang-Chi, but I wouldn't mind seeing her in 10 Rings like kind of as an antagonist for a different character story or involved. Like if they're like it's a criminal organization, kind of, maybe get involved with like Kingpin or something down the line. You never know.
Ooh.
No, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be interesting. So I'm excited. I really, like I said, she was underutilized in the movie, so I hope she really gets her time to shine in a later MCU property.
Yeah, I agree. I think she needed a lot more screen time for my eyes, but yeah. So next up, we're gonna talk about. Oh my god, this episode's gonna be so long, guys. We still have so much stuff to get through, but yeah. Next up, we're gonna talk about Shang-Chi's box office performance. I called it. I was here. I was the one. Okay, I said Shang-Chi would make $70 to $75 million opening weekend in the U.S. Brother was like, that's too much. They can only make that in the whole entire world. No, they made it. They did it. I called, and it's probably, and the thing is, it's a Labor Day weekend. I don't know when this episode is going to come out. It's either going to come out Tuesday or Wednesday. So this weekend will already be over, but we're recording this on Sunday night. So as of now, the statistics are $71.4 million opening weekend. This isn't including Labor Day weekend because Labor Day weekend ends technically tomorrow, which is Monday for us. And also $140 million worldwide. That's insane. I don't think any movies are getting delayed, bro. I'll be real. And this is a theater-only release. I am confident enough to say, and also, guys, I'm going to make a full video breaking all of this down later this week. I promise you. Probably, honestly, before this video comes out, there will already be a video out about the box office and my thoughts on it because I make so many updates on it. But this is absolutely crazy. Brantley, what are your thoughts on this, bro?
Man, this is exciting to me. It's definitely over, like, went beyond that.
I wasn't a fan of the movie.
I do like the movie. I'm happy that it's making money. Yeah. Definitely. Things are still kind of very up in the air now. And we're still kind of in the pandemic and whatnot. So it is very surprising and good to see this film succeed financially. And also because the movie is important in general. I feel like it's like the second minority-led film in the MCU. So, I mean, I think it's important for people to really see this film, see themselves on the screen and whatnot. So I'm happy. This is good news. So not too much to complain about here.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think there's so much more room to grow. Screw you, the racist white nationalists at Marvel that don't want female-led or minority-led Marvel movies because they're making you bank. Black Marvel made you heck of money, and this movie is about to outperform Black Widow, which was a dual release. So come on now, Disney, you already know what to do. Y'all need to give what's his name? Kumail Nanjiani his own movie, bro. Give him a solo movie, bro. Give me a prequel show or something. Just give it to me. But no, seriously, I think this box office performance is really going to stand out with Disney. I think it'll stand out with Marvel. I think it'll stand out with all companies, just in terms of not minority stuff, not like all of that stuff, but like just releasing movies. I'm excited. I don't think Venom, I think Venom 2 is that big push one because I don't think Dune is getting delayed. I don't think No Time to Die is getting delayed. I think those two movies, they're done marketing them. I think it's too far gone for those. But Venom 2 has been really reeling in the marketing. They dropped an official poster. I did see the poster at the theater. I did see it right next to my Dolby theater. It was there. Nice big poster. Does look like they're marketing in theaters, but I think with this performance, and especially Free Guy, remember, bro, we were talking about it. We were scared that Free Guy was going to outperform this movie, but it didn't. Shang-Chi prevails, but that's basically it, bro. You have anything else you want to talk about Shang-Chi before we move on to the news for the week?
I know. I mean, there's definitely a big step up from Black Widow. I mean, obviously, it's exciting to see what they do at Phase 4. I mean, one of the, like, I feel like these movies are Marvel is starting to kind of really get, like, trying to really be more unique with them and whatnot. Like, I feel like this is going to be the phase kind of pushing the boundaries more. I mean, we've already seen that, like, in terms of TV, but I think even in the movies as well. I think they are going to kind of push the boundaries a bit more with this phase, and I'm excited to see what they keep doing. So Phase 4 is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. But yeah, without wasting any more time, let's get into some of the news for this week. Brilliant, you can kick us off.
All right, so first, I mean, we did kind of already touch on this, but yeah, I guess Venom 2. Of course, this movie, as Aryan said prior, has had, it's been a lot of ups and downs. But we have more information on the ratings. It's officially PG-13. I know a lot of people wanted a rated R rating for Carnage, obviously, a very brutal comic book character. And I know some people are disappointed by this, but personally, I think that they can still do a lot within the PG-13 rating. I mean, we already saw the crazy stuff in the trailers, man, putting his tongue down people's throats. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, PG-13 rating?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, Brantley. You were indeed the one complaining that Venom 1 was not going to be rated R, but we won't bring that up.
Yes.
But I really do think Venom 1 made it work, actually. I think they did it really great. I think they cut at perfect moments where we still felt the, like, I still felt the gore in the movie, even though there really was none. This I'm really excited. It seems like they're pushing some boundaries. I don't think we're gonna get too much of tongues down throats with Carnage. That sounds really bad, but I don't think we're gonna get much of that. But I think we'll get at least a few scenes where Carnage is absolutely brutal. I love Carnage's design, and overall, I'm just super hyped for this movie. I mean, hopefully it still releases October 15th, if I'm not mistaken. That's the date. And I'm just excited. I think it's gonna be a big step up from Venom 1. I think the villain, as long as it's not some like gray ass Venom, like I'm just excited, man. I think there's so much potential with this movie, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like agree with that. I mean, definitely my opinions on like R ratings have definitely changed. I mean, I feel like even with this movie, like, so I watched the video and someone brought up a good point. Like, even like if you kind of show something, like if you don't show something that's like in the PG-13 context, like sometimes like our mind honestly comes with more gruesome like outcomes of what like can actually even be shown. So like sometimes it can be just as terrifying, even if you don't like directly see what's happening. So I mean, I think if they just get creative with it, I think Carnage will still be like interpreted and shown as like a pretty brutal character, as we've ever seen. Like, he's a crazy guy. So I mean, I'm still excited. Hopefully, as you said, this movie releases on time. This movie got a 35-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival.
35 minutes, bro.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Bro, we're already calling it, bro. Dune is worse than Venom Let There Be Carnage. You heard it here first on this podcast. No. But seriously, that's insane. I would never make my legs go through that just for Venom Let There Be Carnage. I don't care how good it is. Only Dune, just the hype alone for Dune could get me to stand for 35 minutes, but that's about it.
Bro, that's ridiculous. Moving on, still staying within the Marvel realm, we have Charlie Cox. Of course, people thought he was the forearms in the No Way Home trailer, the white t-shirt got the forearms. It is revealed now because someone saw the trailer. They showed it in IMAX with the increased aspect ratio. You can see the dude's face. It's not Charlie Cox. He was right. We thought he was Captain.
We thought it was Captain. Hey, yo.
Denied it.
Bro, just because it's not his forearms doesn't mean he's not in the movie. He literally said, I don't want to unveil a surprise that might or might not be there. He's definitely in the movie, bro. Yeah, he's 100% in the movie, but that's just not his forearms. Let's be honest here, okay? Still, he's in the movie. I will not lose hope. Daredevil is in the MCU. That's just not him. I don't think that we need to get. I definitely wasn't someone that was saying it was him in the trailer. I definitely was not that person. Definitely didn't say that in my trailer breakdown in my first thoughts, but I do think that he's still in the movie. I think that he'll be playing Peter's lawyer. Not later, I guess, but like still obviously like when they have the court hearing and stuff like that. I cannot wait to see Mr. Daredevil. We're gonna have a whole episode. Actually, let's do this, Briley. Next week, we gotta talk about Daredevil because you just finished it last week.
Yes.
So we'll have a whole episode, just like basically we talked about most of this episode. We talked about Shang Chi. We'll talk about all 3 seasons of Daredevil. If you haven't already checked out my 50-minute video on it, go ahead and do so. But yeah, we'll be talking about it next week. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Charlie Cox in the trailer. I think he'll still be in the movie.
But my question is, I guess, for the Mandalorian thing, I just wonder how they're gonna like have that make sense plot-wise. I feel like so this case, right? Like we just the Spider-Man's identity, right, being revealed. It's like a global, like worldwide case. Like what's gonna really like attract attention of this small New York law firm to defend Peter Parker? Like that's what I wonder. Like,
Well, Peter Parker. Well, no. Matt Murdock would choose Peter Parker. Matt Murdock would tell Peter Parker. Because remember, in the show, Matt Murdock, these people don't go to Matt Murdock normally. Like Matt Murdock, at least in the first season, well, mostly the first season, because that's when he was mostly lawyering and stuff. But like he would go to the prison and meet people and be like, okay, I can be your lawyer, and we'll do this for free. Like he goes up to people, and the thing is, him knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and him knowing that him himself is a vigilante, it would make sense.
That's true. I
think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, now that you bring it up like that, and feel like, yeah, it kind of has like that like relatability. That I can definitely see him kind of understand that. So I mean, I hope that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be moved for a super long time, but I mean a decent amount of time if that's the case. But I know I'm hoping maybe a little Daredevil tease, but probably not just Matt Murdock himself just in his.
I think there's already too much going on in that movie. I think there's already too much going on for that movie for them to tease him as Daredevil. But I do think he'll be in there as Matt Murdock.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, I wonder also like maybe just like for them like to connect more. I wonder if he might like reveal like his identity to Peter Parker. Maybe like he's like, oh, I understand where you're coming from. Like he pulls like the mask. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if they would do that or not, but I could see. I know in some comic runs, I think that like Spider-Man does know that he's like Daredevil, like Matt Murdock is Daredevil or whatnot.
I think it would work. It just depends on what they go for. It depends on how much screen time he has. It depends on how much they actually want to utilize him. They might be saving that whole thing for the Echo show. Like it just depends.
Yeah. I mean, first I wouldn't mind like maybe like a throwaway line where Matt Murdock's like, I kind of understand you more than you may think, or something like that. And kind of like just something like that.
Bro, what if he's like, I saw the sign of like, or he's like, I know that people are calling you Devil in Disguise. Don't worry, I think someone else already has that nickname. Like that would be nuts, bro. That would be so fire. And dude, and like, bro, the fake Daredevil theme, bro, just a little bit in that Dolby Theater, bro, just a little bit. Oh, I would literally die just to hear that, bro.
Some like along those lines. Oh my god, that'd be so sick.
He's like, don't worry, I'm the devil in disguise. Sheesh, I would love that. Oh my god, I would die for that. I would literally die for that.
Yeah, I need that, bro. Marvel, we should. If you don't have it right now, you can reshoot a scene right now.
I know, please, bro, please. Take tips from the Third Thoughts podcast, bro. I'm the devil in disguise. That'll be an insane line.
But moving on, we recently received, I think that's today as this recording, a new photo, the first photo from Aquaman 2. What is Aquaman 2 the Lost Kingdom?
Lost Kingdom.
So first Aquaman for me, pretty good film. For me, it hasn't aged the best, but visually, I think it's probably the best film in the DCU from a visual standpoint.
Hey, before we move on, Briley, do you think Shang Chi is better than Aquaman?
Yeah, it's better than Aquaman. I give it an Aquaman. Yeah.
You give Aquaman a 7, bro? Aquaman's at least a 7.5, my guy.
Yeah, I have it at 7 because I rewatched it and I didn't like it as much as the first time. But visually,
I absolutely hated watching that movie in theaters, bro. Okay, we're not gonna mention names. We were with the most annoying people in the theater. It was so bad. I'll be real. I know none of them are listening to this podcast right now, but it was bad. That was like one of my worst theater experiences ever. But on rewatch, I really like the movie. I like how they set up Black Manta. I love the visuals. I love the color grading when they're on the island. I think everything looks great. I just think the second movie has so much potential, and I actually really like the suit. I think that it's a great stealth suit. I told Brelly this. I didn't want to bring it up before because I wanted to talk about it first on the podcast. But Brelly, just imagine this, right? A navy blue suit fighting an all-black manta suit. That is the worst colors on screen, bro. That's gonna be so bad. And like underwater fights, like dark, like in ships, like that's gonna look disgusting. Like, okay, I think like in like nice clear blue water outside, I think it'll look really good. Like I think it'll look really, really crisp and perfect. Like the silver belt is so good. But bro, like when he's fighting Black Manta, that's gonna look so bad. I'm already calling it. I already know it's gonna look so garbage, but
no, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, I hope that's not his main suit. I hope he goes back to like his OG suit at some point within the movie. Especially, I mean, I need to see him and Batman like fight with like him and his like, and they're both their iconic outfits. I need that. I need it so bad.
Bro,
I think he's a
Yaya,
lot for like, oh my God.
bro, Yaya, you're a man of everything. You know, Candyman, absolute banger. We didn't talk about it on the podcast. I apologize about that last week, but Candyman, absolute heater. You know what I'm saying? Watchmen, absolute heater. Everything this man is ends up being at least a semi-banger. Other than Aquaman. Literally, Aquaman's the only thing. And it just, if he had more of a role in the movie would have been at least a 9 out of 10. Watchmen's a 9 out of 10. Candyman's a 9 out of 10. Watchmen's an 9.5 out of 10. Let's even put it there. Candyman, 9 out of 10. Okay? Aquaman 2, man's going to be the main villain. I'm already giving it a 10 out of 10 going into the theater. The lowest it can probably go with Yaya in it is probably like an 8.5. Let's be real. But nonetheless, I do love the suit. Any more thoughts on the suit, Bradley?
You know, I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but I mean, if that's not his main suit, I mean, I definitely don't mind it. I mean, some suits are definitely growing on me, especially I think seeing a suit kind of in action too, you definitely kind of change your perspective on it. But also, we can talk about Watchmen one day, man. Watchmen one day.
Yes. Bro, no, here's the thing, bro. We got to rewatch the show. We got to rewatch the show and freshen up our thoughts. It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we got to rewatch that. I really want to rewatch it. As of right now, I'm watching The Witcher. I saw this TikTok where this, like, it was like a group of people. Like, I saw hella TikToks. Because I was like under this hashtag, it was like the top 10 favorite acting performances of all time. Number 2, or it was like top 3 on like all like 5 lists, was Cillian Murphy and Peaky Blinders. It's a Netflix original show. I need to watch that, bro. I need to watch that. So my plan right now is finish The Witcher. I literally have like an hour and a half of that show left total. And then Peaky Blinders, and I really want to rewatch Watchmen. I think it's one of the best shows of all time.
I just went to Fireplace too. Like, he was really good in that movie. So
he's really good. Bradley's just not a fan of a lot of things this week, guys. Let's be honest here. Bradley's just.
Fireplace too.
Bradley, let's be real, bro. You were just honestly. It wasn't the movies or TV shows or whatever you watched us mid. It's just that you were mid this week. Okay, your ratings this week were just mid. All of your opinions this week were just mid. Bro said Killmonger was a better villain than Wang Wu. L's all around.
Tell me in the comments, please. Tell me if Killmonger is better than...
Bro, no, Wenwu is way better than Killmonger, bro. No. Okay, not way. I think Wenwu Wenwu outdoes him a little bit, but bro, Killmonger just hates white nationalists. Like, I have the same issue. I don't like white nationalists. That's all that that's the only issue he has, bro.
He's literally attacking the main hero's like biology. Like, he's like really calling out them for being wrong. Like, he's like, help out your people, use your resources and whatnot. Like, he's really pointing out a flaw.
Yes, and Wenwu's entire character is a flaw. He's 100% vulnerable. Okay, bro, we gotta stop talking about Shang-Chi so much, bro. We literally talked about Shang-Chi this entire podcast. No, but seriously, bro. No, okay, we'll have this debate next week. I'm writing this down. Next week, who's a better villain, Killmonger or Wenwu? We're talking about this, okay? But yeah, moving on, Bradley. What's the next thing we're talking about before we talk about Shang-Chi?
Oh, yeah, no. This week's episode of What If... I thought
banger,
man.
Banger.
Gosh, Doctor Strange. Woo! Because this episode called "What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands?" Along those lines, and it was good, man. This episode was like insane. It felt longer than like the runtime.
Yes.
It felt like I watched like a whole movie, bro.
Bro, it was actually 4 minutes longer. Remember during the mystery one, I was like, they need to make this episodes like 4 to 5 minutes longer, and they did, and it was so much better because you just have those little moments, and like obviously like 2 of those minutes were filled with him like repeating the same like death of his like girlfriend, but it was impactful, bro. It felt, oh my god, it was so good. I loved it. I adored it. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Bradley?
Yeah, but I just love this episode, man. Just like the way it just all played out, and just, introducing like kind of new characters and everything. It just felt like a brand new experience. Like, it didn't feel like a rehash or anything like that. It felt just like these last two episodes 3 and 4, both felt like just brand new experiences, and I really just enjoyed it. And it really just, I didn't know where it was even going at. So I was like, what are they gonna do here? And like splitting him in half and whatever. Like that was. It was out of part of my head. I'm like, oh, she did do that, and I forgot what was even passing the president. It was crazy. The movie was like, I mean, this episode was like just really good, and I hope that the show keeps, because so far it's gotten better each and every week. So they can keep this up. I mean, this show can be something special.
Yeah, I just don't think this show is getting hyped because every week is telling something new and not everything's connected. So I just don't think that hype is there, like a story hype, like what's gonna happen next. Like every week is a new thing, so I just don't think the hype in general works. We do this at the end of every episode, guys. Our what if episode blank rating. Brilliant. What would you give this one, bro? I think this one, remember, every week I'm like, there has to be one that hits that mark. There has to be one that sets that standard. I think this is the one, bro. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. I think this one's it.
Yes. I would agree. This was the one. I think this is gonna be the one that like sticks out the most. Like when we got really in the season, like unless something else crazy happens, like I think this might be the show's peak. I don't know, but
yeah, this one was,
this episode was
bro. This one really makes me excited for the Ultron one. There's just so much like. Also, like, remember, it's Ultron and Vision. Like Ultron gets Vision's body. So, like, the whole emotion behind Vision's character and how Ultron defeats everyone, like, the emotion was so there in this episode, and I was absolutely in love. But you have anything else to say about What If Episode 4, bro?
Nah, man, but, I mean, low-key, this episode, bro, it did WandaVision, like, better than WandaVision, bro.
Yeah, low-key. But, okay, I will say, before we end off the episode, I do think, remember we were talking about, Bradley, how we were like, oh, this makes Doctor Strange more powerful than Wanda. I think it's the exact opposite, bro. Because now that I think about it more, right? Wanda created WandaVision, like the entire town, off of a subconscious thought. She made these people her slaves. Okay, this sounds really bad out of context, but she made these people her slaves out of just pure thought. Doctor Strange had to go study and like literally make himself full of demons to complete like what he had to do to save the love of his life, and he still couldn't do it. Obviously, the fact that he couldn't do it doesn't necessarily, like, it's not Doctor Strange's fault, but the fact that Wanda could do it on a subconscious thought, I think that really does prove that Wanda is stronger. But again, this is a variant of Strange. This isn't Doctor Strange in the MCU. But just imagine, bro. We've seen Doctor Strange study in the Doctor Strange movie. We've seen Doctor Strange study in this episode, and we see how powerful he gets. Imagine if Wanda's doing everything that Strange is doing, studying just through her subconscious. What happens when she studies the Darkhold? That is crazy.
And also, another thing that's interesting, I feel like with this episode, we've already, like, this is the first time seeing a character at, like, their max power. So we just, like see, like, our version of Strange, like, he's, like, more powerful, because we've already seen, like, what he can be like when he gets even like way more powerful, like in this show. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Also, one thing I want to point out, remember when he was like consuming all of like the monsters and whatnot?
Yeah.
I wonder if they were using Shuma Gorath, bro, with the little tentacle thing, because they wouldn't show like its face or whatever. They would show like the tentacles coming out. I was like, is this Shuma Gorath?
I'm thinking so. I actually have a really big theory about this. I was gonna make a whole video on it, but we might as well talk about it. We're already over the hour mark. Why not? So I basically think that in every episode, there's been a form of Shuma Gorath pop up, if I'm not mistaken, like tentacles, like, right? So obviously it might not be Shuma Gorath, but if we see Captain Carter in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I think that all of these Shuma Goraths, one of them could go into Multiverse of Madness, and I think that's how Shuma Gorath becomes the main villain of Multiverse of Madness. I think that there's obviously, Captain Marvel has an animated version. I mean, Captain Carter has an animated version. She's gonna go over to live action. I think it's the same thing for Shuma Gorath. Also, someone pointed out, Mephisto type deal. You saw a little devil in there, little devil. You know, I hate to be that person, but saw a little devil in there, so I'm excited. But I will also say, one thing I'm excited for is there's been rumors going around. I don't know exactly from who. I've just been hearing it all over Twitter. Wanda's gonna kill a bunch of people in Multiverse of Madness, apparently. And, bro, I need her to go full sicko mode evil on them, because that's my peak. That's like, I already love Wanda. I love Elizabeth Olsen. I love everything that has to do with the character, not in a fangirl way, but in a fanboy way. And I think that if she kills, that just adds to her character, because why the heck would she go good? She literally enslaved hundreds of people. It makes no sense to me. Like, bro, imagine those dark tones of WandaVision, but in a movie with horror. Vision seeing like these people crying, like that Halloween episode, bro. This was dark. That was so dark. Like, imagine that with real horror, like visual horror elements, not just tones, but like actual visual horror. Like, I think like I rewatched the ending of the October episode, and it really did just hit home. Like, I'm like, this movie's gonna be something different. It's gonna be something really special. I think that they could really do something crazy. But yeah, any other thoughts before we end it off, bro?
Yeah, no. I mean, that's kind of what I've been wanting since like day one. Like, I wanted to be kind of just a very antagonistic person, but I feel like the only shut off for that is I feel like there's no going back. Like, once like she's evil, like I don't get how they would, like, give her an arc to like bring her back to make her hero. Like, I feel like you have to like either kill her off or get rid of her some way if she goes like that dark with like the character. Like, I feel like taking her back would just be just I don't know how they would do it.
I don't really like 360 arcs like at all. Like, it just doesn't work for me. But if they can make it work with the writing, if King Sam Raimi can make it work, I'm down as always. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it for this episode. Unless you have anything else, Bradley.
I think that's it, man. This is not too much of a packed week, but I mean, hopefully we get some more info this week. We need a Hawkeye trailer.
Yeah, we need a Hawkeye trailer. We need a Hawkeye trailer. Marvel. We need a Hawkeye trailer. But yeah, no. But yeah, guys, this week's episode was so much fun. This is honestly my favorite episode yet. Again, I do want to apologize. Last week's episode, we literally recorded for like an hour and 15 minutes. Footage got corrupted. It ended up literally being 30 minutes. But this is probably my favorite episode by far. This was more of a debate style, which I really liked. Brilliant and I have a lot more topics that we think that we can debate on, which would be super fun. Like, again, this is all fun. This is all fun and games. Like, none of this is serious. Brilliant and I debate like this all the time. Again, go ahead and debate in the comments down below. Let us know your thoughts on Shang-Chi. Who you think is a better villain, Killmonger or Wenwu? Let us know what you think of... Yeah, let us know. But let's also know what you guys think of this box office success of Shang-Chi. Also just all the other news in the world. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to check out all of Burnley's social medias, it'll be in the links in the description down below. Mine as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode of Third Thoughts, episode 6. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.